Let's talk about a massive political experiment. What happens when a country, wrestling with total chaos, decides to trade its messy democracy for a promise of stability? Today, we are diving into the rise and fall of Pakistan's Ayub Khan. It was a decade-long attempt at what he called guided democracy, and it promised order. But, well, it delivered something way more complicated.
So this is the big question, right? In the late 1950s, Pakistan was at a major crossroads. The country was facing just crippling political chaos, and the choice it made back then, well, that choice would echo through its history for decades to come.
To really get why the military took over, you have to picture this scene before 1958. The parliamentary system, which was brand new under the 1956 Constitution, was just not working. Leadership was a total revolving door, and that created this dangerous power vacuum, one that was just begging for someone strong to step in.
And you know what? When it happened fast. On October 8th, President Iskandar Mirza declared martial law. He probably thought he was seizing control. That was a huge mistake. Just 20 days later, his own army chief, General Ayub Khan, basically just pushed him aside and took the reins himself. And he did not waste any time. By 1960, he was already drawing up a brand new constitution.
Now, in Ayub Khan's mind, the old parliamentary system wasn't just broken, it was the entire problem. His solution wasn't going to be some quick fix. No, it was a total teardown. He wanted to build an entirely new political machine from the ground up, one he believed would finally give Pakistan the stability it was desperate for.
So, what was the cornerstone of this new vision? It was a system he called basic democracies. And on paper, it sounded pretty good. A grassroots democracy that starts right in the villages. But its real purpose? Well, that was something else entirely.
Just look at how this thing was built. It was a pyramid, 5 layers deep. It starts with these local councils at the very bottom. But make no mistake, power only flowed one way, up. All the way up to a provincial advisory council at the very top. This wasn't power coming from the people. This was a controlled, top-down structure.
Okay, so with his basic democracy system in place, Ayub Khan's next move was to make his power permanent. He needed a constitution that wouldn't just make his rule look legitimate, but would basically weld his new political structure into the very soul of the country. And how did he get that legitimacy? Through a referendum in 1960. The newly created Basic Democrats were asked to give him a vote of confidence. The official result? A whopping 95.6% said yes, a number so high that a lot of people saw it not as a real mandate, but as a rubber stamp for a guy who'd already taken power. Let's just put them side by side. The new 1962 Constitution completely flipped the script. The old parliamentary system, gone, replaced with a powerful presidential one. The prime minister's job was basically absorbed by the president. Direct elections for the people? Nope, gone too. Replaced by an indirect system. And the courts? Their power was seriously cut back. A political scientist, KB Said, absolutely nailed it at the time. He called it government of the president, by the president, for the president. And he was spot on. The president was now the ultimate authority, sitting above the legislature, above the courts. His cabinet, his governors, they all answered to just one person, him.
All right, so with all these new rules in place, let's ask the obvious question. How did this system actually work in the real world? Was it the bottom-up democracy Ayub Khan had promised? Or was it something very different?
And here it is, the key to the whole machine. Those 80,000 basic Democrats, they weren't just running local stuff, they were the election. They became an electoral college that chose not only the president, but the national assemblies too. For the average person, the power to directly vote for their national leaders was just gone.
So who really cashed in on this new system? Well, it was a dream come true for the established elites, the big landlords, the major industrialists, and the powerful civil servants. But for pretty much everyone else, especially people in East Pakistan, it felt less like being empowered and more like being locked out of your own house. It was a system designed by Ayub and his allies to keep a tight grip on power. For a while, the system actually seemed to work. It was economic growth, and on the surface, things looked stable. But all the political and economic problems simmering just beneath couldn't be ignored forever. The very foundation of Ayub's power was about to start cracking.
And then the cracks started to show. First, there was the costly 1965 war with India. A year later, Bengali nationalism exploded onto the scene with Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's demand for autonomy. And by 1969, the pressure just became too much. The entire country erupted in massive, nationwide protests.
At the very heart of all this anger
was a growing economic divide. People in East Pakistan felt like their wealth was just being drained away to make the West richer, while Ayub's centralized system completely shut them out of any real power. This feeling of being ripped off became a powerful rallying cry for the opposition.
In the end, the system that was built to guarantee stability completely fell apart. It never actually won the trust or support of the people. Facing protests he couldn't control and having lost all real authority, Ayub Khan finally resigned in March 1969. His famous decade of development didn't end with a bang, but with the roar of a furious crowd.
And that leaves us with one last really crucial question. Ayub Khan bet everything on this idea, that a guided democracy, one controlled from the top, could deliver more than a messy, popular one. But his story forces us to ask, can a system like that, designed by a small group at the top, ever truly be for the people? Or is it always, inevitably, just for its own creators?